Hey guys, it's Danny. Today it is work day in the plant room. I have a new shelf to install and set up, and pretty much will be the last shelf that I will install because I have no more space, but I think it will be enough to house all of my plants and all of my orchids, which some orchids are still outside. It will be right here. I will have to move the Cattleya shrine, which is how I'm gonna call it from now. I'm gonna have to move it here. This will go on the other side, this aquarium, which will be a terrarium at some point. I don't know when, but it will be. It will be moved somewhere else in storage. So, just like I did on this side, which looks very nice, I want to have the rootstock right in the middle of the two vischos. So, if you see here, I already have a rootstock, and I need a vischo here, which I will install today. Problem is, any vischo needs a good barina, right? And I don't want to purchase any more barinas. Well, I already have some barinas because what I decided to do to the bottom shelf of these vischo is something like this. Now, I did a sort of a recap of all the orchids that I have. Most of my orchids, thankfully, are not very tall. Most of them kind of do fit here, but I do have some orchids, especially oncidiums, which are all outside, and especially some of the taller cattleyas, which just don't fit by a little bit. Do you see? So these guys, I really do want to keep them under grow lights as well, but what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna keep them? So what I want to do is remove the, let's say, middle, in this case, glass shelf, and make a sort of a bigger bottom shelf. So in this case, I want to remove this glass shelf and extend the height of the lower, let's say, part of the vischo, while these two shelves remain the same. And guess what? I will be reusing the barinas in the new shelf. Ta-da! I don't need to buy any more barinas, which is not cheap. It's worth it, but it's not cheap. I'd rather not do it if I don't have to. But the thing is, there are a whole lot of other things to do before that. I need to move furniture around, I need to make some space, and then we can get to the fun part. Don't mind this. We are going to talk about it in a different video, which I might have already posted because I'm pre-recording this. Look at her though. It is a huge Vanda. Such a pretty girl. Okay, never mind her, let's just ignore her. I'm just gonna have to remove some of these pieces of furniture, move them to the other side, like this one. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I moved the tank from there to there, all the way there. I lifted it by myself and I'm so proud. I have to brag about it because my arms are the weakest part of my body and I've been working out. And look at that, it paid off. So for now, I'm gonna keep these calyxes right here. They're gonna be storage. All of that junk will disappear. Gonna relocate it, and I do believe I'm gonna store my pots and all of that fun stuff that I use in the plant room. It's better here than keeping it on the sink or in the sink where it is right now. So yeah, we're gonna tend to this later. This is right below my, do you remember my previous shelves? The ones with the LED panels, yeah. They're a place for my aquariums now. And in here, I wanna put terrariums, hence why those plants there. Yeah, we're gonna get to building them, don't worry. So this is where these are. Now, for today, I just want to tend to where the vischo is, so this will be a project for a different day. At least I got these guys out of the way though. Now, believe it or not, you can actually move this cabinet with everything inside if you just slowly and surely slide it, which is what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be very funny. I'm not gonna film it, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna remove everything from inside. I moved it like this 3 times already. It's fine. So this guy will come here next to the birds. Told you! Right, it is done. Now, I wouldn't recommend you do this at home. Just remove everything to make it lighter and do things properly. But the way that I did it was to push with my feet on the feet of the cabinet. So I didn't actually pull on the structure because it's gonna flex. So what I did was just push with my feet like so. And that's how I got it moving. But then again, I don't recommend anybody to do this. It's really reckless. I took my chances. You shouldn't. Don't be reckless as me. And if my calculations are correct, the Visho should fit in here just right. So let's assemble it really fast. I'm gonna spare you because I already have videos assembling it. If you don't know what I'm talking about and would like to watch it, check the description or just see the title, which is on the screen right now, and type it in YouTube search and it's gonna work, trust me. All right, so I'm gonna do that really quick. Alrighty, here we are. I assembled it. So, as I was saying, I left this shelf empty. And what I did with the glass, I put it kinda right here on the bottommost shelf. And actually, I like to place some table mats. I don't know how you call them, table coasters. Let me get them. There you go, these things from IKEA. I like to place them down because one, they hide the glass, and second, they kind of protect the glass from scratches and other stuff. Even though glass is pretty resilient, it actually overall protects the wooden part of the shelf underneath. There we go. Looks pretty neat. And of course, this is empty. Now, the thing is, I have tried to come up with a solution to remove this bar here, but I don't want to do it because it kind of hinders the whole integrity of the Visho. It's how I feel about it. So rather than having an insecure wobbly shelf, that could very well just bend here, because if I remove it, this part, which actually sits on it, I don't know if it actually focuses here, it's not. There we are. So this part is a cutout. It is super thin and it rests on this bar. So it's gonna be very flimsy here. So I just don't wanna compromise the integrity of this shelf. I'm just gonna leave it as it is because I don't mind it all that much, and it protects the orchids that will sit there. Now, the glass shelves, there's something very interesting with them. I noticed that one side appears to be very slippery and one side not so slippery. So I put the side which is not slippery underneath. Yeah, I'm gonna clean them. But overall, to the touch, one of them is like it's a little bit oily. I don't know if it's the shape of the glass, more fine or not, but I put it on top because underneath I'm gonna stick the barinas and I want them to stick. So the less glossy, the better for the adhesive. But yeah, that's just something I noticed with this particular shelf. I'm not sure about the other shelves. I never noticed it. I don't know what it is, but one side of the glass is a lot more slippery. Right. Oh, I think it is now time to go to this shelf, remove the orchids from here, remove the glass, and remove the barinas as well. And on this one, I use the command strips, which are easy to detach, but I have a helper. So if I have some residue or labels that I need to remove, I'm gonna show you what I found to remove them. By the way, my, what's your name? Ascocentrum. He has 2 flower spikes. How beautiful. I completely kept him under lights. No natural light. Look at that. Great success. Alright, so as you can see, those command strips went off pretty easy, but I do have some sort of residue even from them, and it's really hard to remove. But I actually found this at the store the other day. It's supposed to be a label remover. It actually works pretty well, and it smells like orange peel. No joke. Did you guys know that I love oranges? I love how they smell and how they taste and how they look. So yeah, all I do is place a little bit of this thing. It's a little oily, so it might actually be citrus oil, or I don't know. I placed a small quantity on it, and this actually helps a little bit. Do you see some of the residue coming off here? Yeah, I usually do this with a different object, like a butter knife or something. I don't have it right now. But yeah, afterwards, I just scrape it. Do you see? And it just scrapes off much easier than if I didn't use that solution. How about that? I'm so happy I found it. Again, not the greatest way to do it with your fingernail, obviously, but just wanted to show you the miracle of human evolution that I have found at the shop. I hate removing labels and stickers. Don't you guys? I do, with a passion. I just don't remove them, I just let them be sometimes. By the way, do you see that there was a sticker here that has been ripped? There's another one here, and there's a bit of an exposed metal here. I don't know what it is, but I don't really like the look of it. So let me show you what I did. There we go. I put some electrician's tape on it just to secure it in case it's not a good thing. Because even though I'm gonna put this on glass, and glass does not conduct electricity, you know what does conduct electricity? Metal, like the rootstock. And guess what is on the very, very top shelf of the rootstock? You know, the metal part? Yeah, it's this thing. So I don't want this metal to touch any bit of the rootstock. Anyway, not the case right now, but yeah, that's what I did. I should ask my fiance what the heck that little bit is. But alas, he is sleeping right now because I wake up with the chickens. That's a Romanian saying. It means you're waking up way too early for your own good. All right, so the next part is the most annoying part because I need to put the sticky tape, which is actually acrylic tape, so I discovered, to all of the tubes. And I'm just gonna do this right now to get it over with, and then I'm gonna stick them. So while I do this, how about I tell you about the real reason why the Orchids in Bloom series is just not coming back, because I did see yesterday quite a lot of your comments asking me to bring it back, which, you know, I get it. But let me tell you why I actually decided to cut it off. So as I told you, it wasn't a successful series, and it really wasn't, but maybe you don't really realize why I consider it unsuccessful. Part of it was indeed the views. Some of the episodes nearly got 10,000 views, which for the potential of my videos is very, very small. You might think, wow, 10,000 views, other channels don't reach this number. Yeah, but when you take it into comparison with other videos that I do, it's actually really low. Compare them to the tutorials and even to the updates. It's more comparable to something that is non-orchid. Actually, the African Violet video made more in a week than some Orchids in Bloom episodes in like 6 months or something. So that tells me, one, that people are not interested in it. They see the thumbnail, they see the title, they're just not really interested in it. Not as interested as other topics, right? Well, that's okay, because some videos are not meant to attract people, are meant to actually entertain or teach something to the current subscribers, and I get that. But here's the catch. Here comes the second, let's say, factor that you guys don't actually know about, because it has to do with the back end of YouTube. I do see analytics, I do see statistics about my videos, and I see more than you think I can see. I can see how you guys are watching my videos and when you click out. Not individually, but like generally. And what I discovered was that not only that series got very low views, but the views were not long either. There is a difference. Not all views are alike. You can have a view counted as a view by YouTube if you just watch 3 seconds of the video and then you click out. It is considered one view and it's gonna appear in that counter. If you watch the entire video, it's also considered one view. But you can see they don't last as long. And actually, if they don't last, these views, they don't bring anything to me, like nothing. So what I saw in the back end was that people were clicking out of the video very, very soon, like a few seconds after the beginning. Probably they clicked thinking it was something else, and then they saw what it was and okay, I'm not interested. But you know, that's what that statistic tells me. Second, you guys know that in my Orchids in Bloom, I started to put chapters. So you could go in the description or actually in the progress bar and skip to whatever orchid you're interested in. Well, I can actually see in the back end how people skipped. And the vast majority of people actually skipped. They were watching a few seconds of each orchid, probably just to get the name and a few specs, and then skipping to the other orchid. And that would transform a video that normally would last 15 minutes to maybe 1 minute, so it would count as a 1 minute long view or 30 seconds long view, even though people did watch the entire video, but they just skipped through. So the watch time was very, very low. So overall, very few views, very short views, people skipping around equals a lot of work because this was the type of video where I actually made a little script. It wasn't a script, but I had ideas about each orchid. I had to customize all of the labels. I had to pre-record all of these orchids. I had to set up that background. There was a lot of work involved. Certainly, it's much easier to do this, what I'm doing now, just put a camera and do my job. And if this gets 10,000 views, you know, I'm okay. It was easy to make. It was just a vlog type of video. If a tutorial in which I put a lot of work on does not get enough views, then it means that tutorial failed. Likewise with the series. If a series doesn't really work out, then what I get in return for all of that work is almost nothing. I can actually have a video that gets 5,000 views. If they're long views, it's gonna make more than a video that took a lot more time and it has 20,000 views, but they're short views. So the conclusion that I draw after viewing my analytics was that one, new people obviously were not attracted to this type of video. New people are attracted more to tutorial style, Q&As, things of the sorts. It's one thing. Second, subscribers weren't really attracted to this thing either. Or if they were, they would just skip through most of the times. Now, I know there are some of you who would actually watch the entire video. And I do believe you guys are the ones leaving me comments because you really did enjoy the series. Well, I don't know if I enjoyed it because it's frustrating to not get almost anything in return after you work so much. It is frustrating. I get it that you liked it, but trust me when I tell you, you are a very, very, very tiny minority because I see how people act in the background and they really didn't enjoy that series way too much. It was a boring series, I feel like. So I decided to completely shut it off in that format. I might bring something similar back, but different. I need to come up with something else, something that keeps the viewer more engaged and not skip through and, you know, maybe a shorter thing or maybe shorts or maybe pictures in the community section. I don't know. I will definitely show you the orchids in bloom and things of the sorts, maybe integrated in my other videos. But that series as it was, it's not coming back because it was useless work and it's so frustrating and it's so disheartening. And you know, that's how it is. If you don't make something that people will like, they will not watch it. That's how it goes. And you need to change it up. So that's why I will completely give up the series as it was. I'm not gonna do it anymore because it's very frustrating. Nobody, quote unquote, the vast majority of people did not enjoy it, were not engaged with it. So for you guys who did enjoy it, yeah, I will try to bring something similar back. I don't know when, I don't know how. Gonna have to really think about it, but it's not coming back. And now that you know, I would really appreciate it if you don't leave those comments because they're very, very pressuring. I get it that you don't know the full story of it. Now I told you the full story of it. And yeah, I would appreciate it if you just let it go because it's frustrating. It feels like not only did I let you guys down with the series, but now I'm letting you, or some of you, I'm letting you down with removing the series. I cannot win. It's a very frustrating feeling. So please don't comment about it anymore now that you know what happened. Okay, so there we go, one blab to another, and I finished putting the sticky tapes. Now I'm gonna attach all of these to the shelves like I did before, and we are done. I need to go make breakfast because it's 8. Oh my gosh, time flew. All right, so I'll see you in a little bit. Well, here's something irritating. Barina doesn't actually specify on their stickers, on their labels, if they're yellow or pink. And as you know, I do use a combination of yellow and pink arranged in a certain way that I want to keep throughout. And on the old Barinas, these are the first Barinas that I ever purchased. I remember because how I used to mark them was with a dot on this sticker. Well, that was not a good idea because some of these Barinas do not have that sticker anymore. So I have no idea what color they are. There is no way to tell from the front at all. So I'm just gonna have to test them one by one and write with marker on them what color they are. Ta-da! It is done. I finished. It looks great. And if you were wondering if the light quantity is reduced on this shelf, yeah, obviously, because the distance is much greater here, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's still pretty bright, I have to say. And I'm currently testing it out with some Cattleyas. Let me just show you. Oh yeah, I need to do some cable management. Don't look at that, it's gonna be better. Let me show you how the other Vistra looks like. Okay, there it is. Definitely not as intense, but it still looks pretty okay. I wanna test it out. I wanna see how these orchids will do. I do believe Oncidiums will definitely do okay here. Not sure about Cattleyas, but hey, if you don't try, you don't know. Right, so you might also say, but Danny, you're losing some space because this shelf used to house quite a lot of orchids. Well, I kind of found a way around that. Do you see in the back that I'm placing some smaller orchids there? I'll give it, it's not the greatest of balances, but you know, there is no way that this orchid will just flop to the front all of a sudden, unless, I don't know, there's an earthquake maybe, but I don't live in an area prone to that, thank goodness. But yeah, this is my solution. I can actually place a few more tiny orchids on the very sides here. And if I pull this more to the front, I'm gonna create more space there so that the pots actually lean with, let's say, most of their weight on the wall, which is what I want. So I think I can make use of the space that I have here pretty great. So I also have a few lower light plants hanging off the shelf. This is the magnet. Ooh, it's heavier than I thought. This is the magnet hook that I showed you a while back. I purchased it from Amazon. Links down below in the description. Since the Vistra shelf has a metal frame, it can totally support magnets if the magnets are strong enough, and this one is. So I have a little macrame hanger here. I don't know why it's called macrame. When I was growing up, macrame looked totally different, but maybe it is, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, so you can see I have a few hanging plants here, lower light plants. This is the Selagene, I forgot her name, Selagene usitana, beautiful little orchid here. Leaves look finally okay. I have been spraying it all the time. She's a magnet for pests, but yeah, I kept her in check. So I do believe that even if I'm losing space, literally, because I'm not using that shelf, I can compensate with all of these little hacks that I can do. Not sure about that one. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. It's not the most brilliant of ideas, I'll give it, because it's a pretty unstable equilibrium there. But I'm taking my chances. You be careful though with something like this. Other than that, yeah, I do believe it's worth it because I do have a few plants that simply do not fit anywhere, and I do want them to benefit from the grow lights. So yeah, that is about it for now. What I'm gonna do next is just get some of the orchids from outside. I'm gonna spray them and I'm gonna bring them in the grow space. I do think I have quite a lot of space at this point, and it's getting kind of chilly outside. I don't want them to have cold damage. Some of them I already brought back. They're blooming, my poor Oncidiums. So yeah, I missed them. It's time for them to return. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And about the discussion earlier, yeah, when you and the people around you actually depend on you to produce and to help them, you know, when you put so much effort and pretty much waste time into something without much real return, that's hurtful. It's beyond like, oh, it's not worth it, I'm not gonna do it because it doesn't pay me. It's beyond that. It's hard to explain, but anybody who's self-employed and has people depending on them, you know what I'm saying. As much as you work, that's how much you get paid. There's not a salary that comes in the same way all the time. You have to work for it, you know? So when I waste time, oh boy, it just demoralizes me so bad. So obviously, I drew the conclusion that people weren't really interested all that much. There were just a handful of people who maybe watched all the way through, and I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for watching my videos all the way through, because actually that's what matters. But most of the people that I saw really didn't watch that video all the way through, and the views were not quality views. Really, the return was almost nothing on those videos, and it was so much time that I could invest in doing something much more appealing, much more useful, much more entertaining, I don't know. Or investing a quarter of that time in something like this, which will get the same amount of views, will get longer views, because that's the nature of things. So yeah, that's why Orchids in Bloom is just not coming back. And if it is coming back in a shape or form, then it's gonna be way different. I need to come up with something smart. I don't know. It's not working in the way that I made it. Audiences change. people change, YouTube changes, I change as well. I don't know, maybe I became more boring along the years, but something changed and I gotta adapt to it. So yeah, that's the whole story with the orchids in bloom. And that's it for today. Thank you so much again for watching till the end. If you did, let me know in a comment. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day. Subscribe to my channel for more orchid videos, tutorials, experiments, updates, and other fun orchid subjects. If you wish to support the channel, do consider becoming a member or visit the merch store linked down below in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. It's always nice to stay in touch there as well. And with that said, I'll see you next time. Bye!